Now, Chitali B. Roy is actually a Kuwait-based writer, cultural journalist, broadcaster, a podcaster, and a television presenter with over 2 decades of experience across print and broadcast media, widely respected for her work on culture as well as heritage and women's narrative in the Gulf region. She has actually built a very distinguished career for herself, bridging societies and fostering cross-cultural understanding between India and Kuwait and the wider world itself. Now, the previous report was basically about her late accomplishments, Sadaqa. So how about this? We welcome Chitali. How are you doing for today?
Thank you so much.
Good morning to you.
Thank you. Good morning, Kuwait, and thank you for bringing me on the show, Iman.
I'm very actually pleased to have you here.
Thank you very much for the honor, and it's good to come back. This is an old setup with friends like Dahlia behind the scenes, and it feels like home.
It is a pleasure for us having you here, of course, with us all the time. Now, of course, Chitali, you have actually started your media journey in the early 2000s with the HMV in Calcutta as a producer and radio jockey. So what first actually attracted you to the world of media and broadcasting?
You know, Iman, when I was growing up in Calcutta, which is in the east of India, my childhood was filled with books, which my mother encouraged that. And then later on, I became very involved in theatre, in dramatics, in debate. So I always advise parents that if your children are interested in extracurricular activities, you should go ahead with that. And so I wanted my career to be something connected. I didn't want a, sorry to use the word, but a boring desk job. I didn't want to be an accountant or an engineer. Full respect to everybody, but you know, it was like, I'm sure you may be feeling like that as well. So, I mean, we learn something new every day. I mean, who does that, right?
All the time.
And the job is no longer a job. It becomes something that we enjoy, and we get paid for doing that.
That is so true.
I wanted to do something like that, and radio happened to me in India, and I'm so grateful to God for making that connection, that I wanted to join the advertising agency, and then that didn't happen, and I got a job in radio in one of the first private FM stations in India, and I was given the responsibility of developing a women's only program, a women's only hour, and that was a fantastic experience. So it kind of brought in my love for books, theatre, culture, arts, people. It all converged when I joined radio, and that was the beginning of my work in broadcasting.
How does it feel like to be doing that? You know, building your dream or living in it, basically. How does it feel?
Well, you know, I don't want to sound selfish or self-centered.
You're not. You can allow yourself to be selfish once in a while. I think that's not a problem.
Because you know, when you pursue a job in media, or you pursue a job where you're trying to build bridges or bridging cultures, there are times when you may have to sacrifice something while you're doing that.
Absolutely.
And perhaps maybe it's the commercial aspect that you have to sacrifice. I always say this in the pyramid of, you know, needs. So you have the Maslow's need, which we learn of in economics. I think the self-actualization is the top of the pyramid, and I think I perhaps jumped to that one, you know, first before passing through the other ones.
There's always a bridge gap between something until you reach something that you finally have to acquire. But at the same time, it's all about experience.
It is about experience. So I feel I've been maybe selfish and self-centered because I've enjoyed my work so much that I did not think of the other practical aspects of living. But I have no regrets about that, because I've learned so much along the way. And as I said, learning is growing, and we learn every day in our field.
Absolutely. What you said is 100% true. It's all about learning. It's all about experience. And regardless of what the outcome might be, you know, it's all in the process in between. That's all that matters. So as a fact writer, which is a major influencer in the society itself, what are some of the major, let's say, ethics or let's say principles that he or she must actually seize to be titled as a roster writer?
I mean, I would say that stay away from sensationalizing things. I mean, when I first came here and okay, so I was doing radio broadcasting in India, but when I came here and I joined radio, I slowly also got involved with the other part of broadcasting, and I realized that which is just not infotainment. So I was into infotainment. I was doing films and music, but here I got involved in a different kind of journalism when I started writing for Arab Times. One thing is, which we have to be absolutely sure of, is not to sensationalize things, because we have this habit amongst journalists, not just, I mean, all over the world, that in order to draw more TRP or to more draw reader attraction, we kind of make a situation which too big for what it is, you know. That's one thing that I have consciously tried to avoid. I've tried to consciously try to avoid stereotyping, which is something that I've tried to do through my work. In fact, break stereotypes. I've made it a point. So I think that, and I was lucky because I in a way I was safe, because I restricted myself to cultural journalism. I was not into political journalism.
That's good.
So that made maybe things a little easier for me. You know, when you're into politics, it becomes
a much more harsher, much more delicate situation. Yeah, and sometimes it's not even fun.
Exactly.
To be honest,
I agree with you.
Yes, and I like the fact that you mentioned breaking from this situation, the stereotype.
Yeah.
Where you have to put yourself in a place where, okay, like, this is what I need to be doing in order to achieve what I want. Not necessarily maintaining what other people are actually doing, but doing something that is for me, and that is for the people, and that is something that is true. People can actually see through you.
Exactly.
Especially when you're in the middle of the media, people can actually sense if you're being authentic to them or
Very
if you're
important,
not.
right?
They don't notice.
Yeah.
You know, the ones
building
we're
that
doing.
credibility is so important.
Absolutely.
So I, for example, the forward to I brought the book to show it to you, if I may. The latest book that, you know, I don't know
whether. Can you bring it a bit closer?
Yes, like that. So the forward to the book is written by Sheikh Altaf Salim Al-Ali Al-Sabah. So I believe that the credibility that we build as a journalist over the years, the consistency is very important.
Oh, yes.
You need to show up every time, and no matter how difficult it is. And I think being authentic, what you said, and so that credibility is so important, that someone like Sheikh Altaf, who is, like, for me, she's like a guru. I consider her my mentor, and because of all her work to do with anthropology, Sadhu heritage, that she agreed to write the foreword to my book. She wouldn't have done that if she did not trust or believe in the work that I did. You know,
absolutely,
so
you do deserve the best.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You do,
so
and I would like to showcase this. And would you like to tell us where we can actually find this book around?
Oh, thank you. Yes, of course. So it is at present in the Sadhu House gift shop, and it's also available at the Darul Athar Yarmouk Cultural Center gift shop.
Okay.
And it's available with me. At present. I mean, this book was released just like a month back, so we are still working on you know, reaching out to other bookstores as well.
And Maktaba al-Wataniya, of
yes,
course.
Yes, yes.
You can purchase that over there, or you can find it wherever you want, actually. Thank you so much for this, first of all. Now, we all know that you're a leader among other women who actually build women empowerment, which is quite powerful statement itself. So what still actually is needed in order to be achieved by your gender, our gender?
I think it's the same story everywhere, Iman. I mean, it's just not Kuwait. My work with women, though it did start in India, but when I came here, it took a different form, because I realized one thing. Within a couple of years of me coming and meeting someone like Sheikh Hassa Al-Sabah of Darul Athar, Sheikh Altaf of Sadhu House, and the others like Sarah Akbar or Dr. Masooma Mubarak, you know, who I've written about in my first book, Women of Kuwait Turning Tides. And I realized that, I mean, that's an incredible repository of stories which are there, but that not just the young Kuwaitis, but even people outside the world don't know about. I mean, outside this region, women are stereotyped, and I'm sorry to say that a lot of it is due to how the Western media operates. And so that's how I started getting involved, because when I started exploring these stories and I found them so inspirational, I said, I need to share this inspiration with other people.
Absolutely.
So, and then after I wrote the book, I also gave lectures in different universities across India. I was there for a fellowship in the States. I talked about these women, and I feel that one commonality, that it's a universal experience faced by us, is the fact that we are not able to get into leadership positions, whether in government or whether in the corporate world. There is a glass ceiling, and it's taken so long for the glass ceiling to, it's breaking. So we have one of the first female prime ministers in the world. India had Mrs. Indira Gandhi.
Which is quite an accomplishment.
Yes, yes. But after that, I mean, we need more people, you know, in the sense that more women in leadership positions. And that's happening at a much faster pace in India.
Yeah.
But we still need to, you know, we still need to hasten the pace or speed up the process. In Kuwait, there is still a lot of work to be done as far as women in leadership are concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in political leadership.
Yes.
So, you know, that is something that I suppose one has to work on. And there are a lot of people working on the ground for this.
Yeah.
And we are hoping that change will, in the next, you know, maybe 10 years, we will see a distinct change happening in that field.
Absolutely. We definitely do hope for all of that to happen, especially for women who are actually inspiring.
Oh, they're inspiring, yes.
We definitely want to make sure that we pay attention to the ones that actually inspires us to get better, to grow better, to become better, rest than the ones that actually helps like advocate on different kinds of stuff that really don't matter in this generation. We need someone
substance, right?
Yes, some substance, something that feels real, something that is quite important to us in the real life, like we're living in the real life. And we need to make sure that we're actually portraying that. And it's not at all about competition. This is all about everyone rising on their own stance.
And I think we raise, you know, we help the other person rise. And I remember Sarah Akbar once telling me, that was in the early 2000s, that there were so many fantastic women, Kuwaiti women engineers here in Kuwait, that they had to actually raise the percentage for admission for women and reduce the percentage for the men, so that you had more men coming in, you know. And that itself is telling. Absolutely. Imagine the work that Kuwaiti women are putting in, you know, and they are, and so we hopefully in the next few years we will see a lot more happening.
Hopefully,
we're very hopeful.
Inshallah, inshallah. Thank you so much, Chait. Of course, Chaitali, for being here with us. I'm so grateful for having you with us.
It was an honor, Iman. Thank you so much.
An honor of mine, of course. Great to have you here. Now, of course, all thanks to the guest, Chaitali Ali Roy, the author and the cultural journalist, documentarian, and the broadcaster. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back right after this break.